Yo, hello, SolarLune here, and welcome to another Golang Gamedev 3D Game Dev stream. Hi, so I'm SolarLune. I'm the creator of Masterplan. I'm the creator of Tetra 3D, which is, well, let me back up. I'm the creator of Masterplan, which is a project planning software for indie game devs. I'm also the creator of Tetra 3D, which is a 3D renderer that I wrote myself, and I'm also the creator of It Breeds Fear, which is a game I'm working on in Tetra 3D to make a PlayStation 1 style adventure game. What's up? Hello to everybody in chat. Fez Pazarino and TJK, how's everything going to the both of you? Hello. And everyone else who's in the comments section afterward. If you want to support development, please check out the links in the description to my itch and Steam pages for Masterplan, as well as my Patreon. Definitely would appreciate it. And what I'm working on here is a Masterplan that I'm basically just making some bug fixes and stuff, and working on that a little bit. So just some minor bug fixes, and also the ability, or not the ability, but if you open a subpage, it'll show you where the screenshot area is with this handy little square. Well, this square along with this little camera icon, so you can see basically where things will go and where the screenshot kind of takes from, like that. That's cool. Copying subpages no longer makes references to them. It's just a unique subpage now because it was causing issues, I believe. So that will be pushed, and that update will be going out next time around. Yeah. As for, hold on, let me commit this before I forget, I suppose. Can you zoom in here? No, you can't. It'd be cool if Masterplan had the ability to play videos and do screen recordings. Screen recordings is just out of the realm of my capability. It's just that I feel like that's something that you can easily use a screen recording software to do. It's not outside of the realm of my capability, but I don't feel like it's that critical. But playing videos could be useful. Yeah, playing videos could be useful. I don't know quite how I would do that because decoding videos could be troublesome, especially when you think about how there's a lot of different video formats. So I would need to use like FFmpeg or something to decode them. If it was something where it's like I only have to support one video format, then that might not be so bad. But if I have to support, MP4 and MKV and FM, can't remember the Flash one, FLV, and all these other formats, MOV and all this stuff, it's like it's not really realistic, I don't think. Not if I wanted to keep the executable size low as well as have it be relatively performant. I don't think I can do it, but I would like to have videos of some description somehow. All right, so I'm just going to commit this real quick and then we'll get on our way. So, yeah, this is fine. All right. We will. I guess we can leave it like this. We don't have to commit it because I want to go back and look over it a little bit more closely. Oh, it's already open. Yeah, that's fine. You can start with the most common format. The thing about adding things like that is, while I do like the idea, if you support anything, people will inevitably ask for more. And I'm not being, like stingy or Grinch like. I'm not trying to be overly miserly, but it's like if you support, let's say, MP4 formats, you'll have someone basically the same day being like, I can't load FLVs, and it's like it's not gonna be there. I mean, it's not in there yet. And then the next update, they'll be like, where's FLVs? in the following update. Whereas I felt like some people require like one specific format, or they only work in that format. And once you support anything but that format, they will just get hung up on it. And I'm not trying to put anybody down. It's just that's the truth of developing things. Is the more options you give people, the more people you attract, but also the more people whose needs aren't fulfilled by those options, that then will come to you and be like, I need this like extremely edge case thing, which is fine, if it's like minor things. But if it's something like, I need, this format of video, I need that format of video, I need this format of video, I would need to basically like package FFmpeg or ask you to install FFmpeg yourself, which feels unsatisfactory because it's like most people don't have it unless you're like cutting video. Even if you have a lot of videos, unless you're actively editing it on like a Linux system, you probably don't install FFmpeg. Like if you're on Windows, Blender, I am assuming, packages its own distribution of FFmpeg, and then same thing for Mac, I assume. So it's like asking people to download it is a little awkward. Packaging it ourselves is a little awkward. So I have to think about how I might want to approach it. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Right. That's right. That's what I was going to do. So, last time we left off, we were working on music, and I made made one track and improved the original track that we were working on. So let's take a listen to those songs here. Sorry, it's loud on my end. And I'll start it lower and then raise it up. So that's the general idea. Mad talented. Thank you, Lottie. And yeah, thank you. It's this one's a little weird. I'm not sure where I would put this in the game. I like the general feel, but it kind of is like fast paced. I'm not sure where I would put it. The first, section, which is this. Like that's cool, but it doesn't quite mesh with the rest. Like it works okay, but it feels like they're kind of two different concepts. Like this is kind of like a stressful, situation that I could really flesh out a little bit more. Whereas this is kind of more of a uneasy situation. Is like there are two different feels. I don't know. I have to either mesh them a little better, or maybe I'll just separate them out. Maybe use this portion a little more heavily with maybe stressful or tense locations and stuff, whereas this is more of a chill section. I don't know, but I like the idea. I like how it sounds overall. And this is a cool kind of project because PlayStation 1 music was basically like orchestral and stuff, or just more CD quality music. So going from like tracker style tunes with like 90s computers and SNES and stuff like that, and then going to PlayStation 1, you have this massive jump in music quality usually. And so this just allowed me to kind of just make normal music rather than having to go for a specific feel or sound. I can just be like, let me just, add VSTs and stuff, because, they didn't have VSTs back then, or at least not modern ones, but like, they had modern synths were modern at the time. They had modern samples that were modern at the time. And they were rendering everything out to audio anyway, so it didn't matter how like, you know, how like high quality the samples were. They didn't have to worry about disk space so much if they were using larger samples. Anyway, yeah, this one. So this one I just kind of fleshed out a little bit more to be a little bit more I don't know, it just kind of worked on it a little bit more. Let me see if I can get my, where's the cable for this? Is it this one? It is. So like I just kind of like spaced it out a little bit where this section, like people were saying, where the first section is like this. So we're leaning more heavily on the gate, and then over here we're leaning more heavily on the duck. So that overall sounds pretty good. I think that's an improvement. I'm going to keep working on it a little bit more. Probably to kind of like push it a little bit harder. But overall, that's a pretty solid track, I think. Sounds like a banger, everybody's favorite. You know what? Let me do something here. I still want to make a track that does what I want it to do. I've gone for this kind of track a couple of times and it's never, so far, hasn't worked out. So I'd like to give it a shot. Let me give it another shot. Lottie says that you'd be an excellent hip-hop producer. Thank you. I feel like I have a long way to go still. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here, what I'd like to do, move this back. I'd like to make a song that kind of leans a little bit more heavily on just more unsettling. I feel like I'm missing that kind of like unsettling feel that I usually can get pretty easily with like synth strings and stuff. So I'm gonna give it another shot and see what I get. I want like something like that, something that's okay. We're definitely going with that. Let me lower the volume a little bit on the stream. Lower the volume a little bit over here. Ooh. Yes, please. Lottie says, Solar weird request. If I was to pay to produce, say, 7 songs, would you be willing to? 7 songs is kind of a lot, but I mean, it depends. Like, if just to be honest, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for me to produce songs because I'm generally slow and I'm not good. So like, it takes longer to get something of quality. I feel like, 4. It depends, dude. You gotta why don't you like email me? I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe. I think I'm gonna do something kind of weird like this. I like that a lot. Oh, let's try this. Oh, okay. I just have to double time it. Oh wait, it was B. I chose A. I'm flubbing it. Let's see. Okay, so overall, I think this is pretty good. Let's fix the volume. It was loading. All right. Let me save this before I forget, before something happens. We'll name it Something Happens. Something happened. There we go. Okay. So maybe not piano, maybe something else. Eh. Hmm. Evangelist, yeah. Ruth Week says Evangelist. Yeah, it's kind of like Evangelist, I believe. All right, so this is pretty good, but I think we want to flesh it out more. We want to make that more meaty. Ah, I see. Okay. Master the Turtle, hello, welcome. And Ruth Wick said this has me in some introspective mood right now. That's good. Let's see. This reminds me of a little bit of Hyper Light Drifter. Yeah, it does. It does have that kind of a feel. Wait, maybe I could. Let's see, what if? All right, let's see how this goes. All right. That's definitely a good start. Definitely a good start. Let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. There's definitely room for something like that. All right. Okay. All right. I'm pretty satisfied with that. This is the kind of song I was like feeling like I was missing. Is this kind of like mental kind of a song, mental like heartfelt song, kind of a sad, vaguely worrying song. This would probably be what plays in this area. Well, once it loads, this area. Excuse me. Or maybe that's the title screen music. Either way, that's good. That's really good. I'm good. I'm happy with that. Cool. So next, what I've been missing is this game has been taking too long to make as it is. Played it in the background. I guess I can play it in the background actually, now that I think about it. Or now that you give me the idea. Alright, we'll loop this twice. Save it. We'll export this. Something happened, that's fine. You can go into the sound effect folder, that's fine. Done. Alright, cool. Bonk. Bonk. Alright, now we'll go over here. We have to convert it. Can we just do assets? Convert? No, okay. So we have to actually go into assets BGM. All right, let's do this. Oh, we put it into here. My bad. I forgot to move it back. Yes, move. Okay. There we go. All right. All right, I could get behind that. I feel like they both kind of work. I'm not sure, so because of that, I'm not sure which one I'll go with, but either one kind of works equally as well. So what we're gonna do, we're not gonna worry about that for the meantime, like what exactly, which of these two we're gonna go with, because they both kind of require polish. Um, I need to like master both of them to have the right audio levels, because you can't have it be too quiet, of course. So I have to like do that to make sure that it all sounds comparable with the sound effect volume and all that. So I'm not too worried about this, which of these is going to be in this particular area, but I feel like they both are good. Maybe this song, Something Happened, might be good for the area of the game where you're like walking around in the flashback. Someone said it's like that, gives that kind of a feel. And I definitely could kind of lean heavily, lean into that maybe a little bit more heavily, maybe have a stronger melody. But yeah, that sounds pretty good. So I'm gonna get some music going, and then we have to actually get started on like making characters. We have to make we have to make a construction site, so girders and stuff like that. But then we also have to, I think, make a construction dude here, a neighbor somewhere around here, maybe just a dude walking around on the street. It'd be interesting to do like a ooh, I hadn't thought of that, but curves would be useful if you have paths. Let's do that, because I think we'll need, a character. We won't need it, but we could have a character walk back and forth on a path, and it would be cool if we could do that with. Well, there's a couple ways we could do it. One way is to do it via an animation where we just animate it. Another way to do it would be to do it via a path. So we'll see like a path object you can place and like do stuff with. So we'll see. I'll try both of those. Well, because the path object I'm pretty sure will not export properly out of GLTF, so I would have to code that in, which I'm very much willing to do. The alternative would be an animation, which would look better and give us more control. So maybe we'll just, well, I mean, I'm probably going to need curves at some point, so maybe I'll do that. So let's get some music going, just some background music. Keep the volume, desktop volume down. Oh, I forgot, this also works really well. Yeah. So yeah, let's do this. We're gonna design a dude. We're gonna design a guy, and we won't have to do a lot here because we can just have him share the same armature and animation as armature design and animation as our main character. So we'll just do something like that. Actually, I guess we could. Let me think. Hold on. think what we'll do, we will, I'm wondering if we should have this guy be, we should merge these blend files together, because having them be separate means that if we want to place a human, a character in a map, we have to use an empty and then sub it in, which we do here. We say like, oh, player, and I could use the property for this, but I say, you know, basically if there's an empty named player, that's the player we sub it in. It would be better if we could actually place an instance of the player object here, and I believe we cannot do that with a link. I don't think we can do it this way. So like, oh, can I link all of this? I think if we then go to try to export this as a GLTF, I don't believe it works. Oh, does it work? All right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does work. Okay, so the player does exist. So it looks like it does work, I suppose. How strange. Okay, so it does work. For some reason I thought it didn't. Okay. So if it does work, then let's see if we can... Does it look darker? Did I delete the sun? I did at some point. Okay, so if it works, if this does work, then we can just keep things separate. For some reason I thought it didn't work. Maybe I fixed it, whatever the issue was. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can actually append the player here. We'll cursor to selection. Delete this. If you know you own the world, if you can mistakenly delete the sun, basically. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab all of this, you know, this object, this character, and we will put it into a collection. Is it already in a collection? I guess it is. Is collection just like the default? Yes, okay. So collection, it starts off in the collection group. Okay, got it. So we will add these to another collection. This will be asset player. Okay, cool. So now I should be able to go back to maps, and instead of actually having the player be there, I can just link in, should be able to link in the collection. All right, save it. Let's see what happens. I want to see exactly how this works. So suited man. Primitives. So it looks like it actually does like put the data in the thing, I guess. I guess it's not linking. It's not a link. Because what I'm thinking is the way that this must work, because this has no knowledge, like the GLTF file has no paths resolving to the other blend file, or the other GLTF file for that matter, humans. So it must like append the data in here. So if so, animations should also include like idle and walk and stuff. It did not. Huh. Let's see if there's something that we can do for that. Because basically the problem that I'm seeing here is that it's possible to link an object from another blend file, but when GLTF exports it, it doesn't become a link to that blend file or a link to a file. It pins the data. Like it's directly pulling the data in, but it doesn't pull in the animations. So it looks like it pulls in the materials, right? Yeah, player. So it pulls in the materials, pulls in the textures, pulls in the model information, but it doesn't pull in the animations. There's no idle, walk, run. All of those animations are missing. Okay. Okay, let me take a look at the GLTF exporter real quick. Okay, so here we say, or it says armature warning not supported in duplet/group instances. So that might be what it's not doing. It's not exporting the player's armature. That might be why I said it's not supported. Like suited men is here. Oh no, here's the, yeah, leg L, foot L. Okay, so the armature is exported as well. Okay. So we could we could say basically collection, each collection is a file to like yeah, okay. So I think the right way to do this, man, I'm not sure. Wait. I think there was a thing I can do where I can substitute my own context, which means I could take this scene, take any objects that link to other files, delete them, export them as GLTF. Maybe? And then I can like when I load it into Tetra 3D, I can be like, you know, I can export data that says there was an instance here linked from another file. It's this. And then you can supply that file to instantiate it from that GLTF file. That's an idea. But asset player isn't actually recorded anywhere, so I'd have to record that too. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. How do you do? How would you do this? How would you link an object from another file? There's no issue in that it links. The issue is that it doesn't take all of the information over. We want to link animations as well. Do we link? Can we just link the animations? No. Is it because they're not here? Like bang on door is not in here. Okay. Yeah. So even if we link an animation, it doesn't pull it over. Yeah, it's not pulling it over. Okay. So what I'm thinking, I could make a property that allows you to substitute an object for another one. It would be in here. So you could be like, okay, I'm putting it empty here, but I'm going to substitute the how would that even work? So it would be a path to a blend file, and then in that blend file be a path to the. It can't be an instance of a collection, and the reason why is because the collection doesn't exist in the GLTF file. When we export a GLTF file, collections don't exist. There's no such thing as collections. So I could record the collection, you know, when we export. I guess I could do that and say this collection is composed of these elements, these objects, from these scenes. That way, if we want to substitute, we can basically say, here's an empty, substitute it out for this other thing in this other blend file. That's what we're doing already, though. Yeah, let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not overcomplicate it. So the idea then is just, let's add an empty, which we can make, I guess a cube, that's fine. And this will be the player. Whoops, and we will make a, yeah, replace, or really just spawn, and we can just go and say player, save. Okay, so that does what we wanted to do. It's not as fancy, but it works. So spawn, player. We go to play, scene.go. If it is empty, it doesn't really matter if it's an empty. Spawn. This is interesting. This is interesting. Hold on. Because what I'm doing here, I'm kind of caught between two concepts. One is I want my player character, let's say my player character exists in another blend file, which he currently does. So that means I have a blend file and a GLTF file for the player and any NPCs conceivably, and one for the levels, the maps that you walk around in. I can use an object to substitute in, to stand in for like the player or other NPCs, but this isn't great because we can't see them. It's okay, but we can't see them when we place them in the scene. It'd be nice if we could. First problem, which is not that big of a deal, but it's an issue. It's not a big issue, but it's an issue. Two, the second problem is I'm using code like this to basically say, are you spawning a player? If so, create a new player, add him to the scene, position him. That's fine, but it'd be cool if I didn't have to do this. If I could basically like do something so that anytime I add the player to the scene and it instantiates the scene, it automatically becomes in code a player object. So in other words, I want to add something to tie logic to a node. So I can say like this node represents, or this struct in my code represents this node in the game. That's the idea. So how would I do that? Same concept for the cam helper, which is basically what makes the camera move. It'd be cool if I could say like, this is the cam helper. I can specify something that basically like ties to a Golang struct and then go from there. So an idea is I can pass a string that represents the class, or not the class, the struct. That kind of works, yeah. So let's see if we can get it to work. So firstly, we'll go ahead and commit all of this because this is going to be a pretty major change. So sound update. Okay, so adding music, adding always works. All right, cool. Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna undo this because I want this to be in a playable state before we do anything rash. I'm also gonna undo maps.blend. I think we're good to undo it. Well, let's just add an empty. This will be called player. Save. So let's see if it works first. Also, I'm sitting back super far in my chair. All right, so we're back to normal. All right, this is a little exciting. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna add these changes. So everything's working as it should, basically. Now, what I'd like to do is replace this as well as the code that updates the camera, which is here and basically is kind of like external to the camera node. I'd like to kind of bake them in a little bit more. So the idea is I'm going to add a property that signifies a type in Go that is a struct that fulfills the node type that it is in the scene. So in this example, here's our camera, right? It's a little hard to see. Also, I always forget to do this. I'm sorry. Let me update resolution scale a little bit. There we go. Make it a little easier to read. But here's our camera. And actually, let's go to an easier scene to kind of look at this at. So here's our camera. It's pointed to our cam helper, which is basically like, I tend to do it like this because your camera can then easily move in and out like this, while also providing easy rotation around a center like that, orbiting. And then you can slide your camera around easily using this helper, this center, like the focus. So what I'd like to do is basically add a property that says this is a instance of what Go struct, and when we go to here, we say type camera is a struct. It implements tetra3d.node like this, so it is a node, which means it basically should be able to do this. Like, it should basically correspond to this, and its update function should then be called. Let me see. How do I want to push? Do I want to insist? That's the other thing. Do I want to insist on the API? Let me kind of give you a visual of what I'm thinking of. So like, here's our scene. You know, and well, let me make it a little bigger. And here's our, you know, player object, let's say, right? He's happy. Now, currently, Tetra3D is a renderer. It doesn't do anything other than draw stuff on screen and allow you to check for collisions, because those are the kind of the most important and also the hardest parts, I would say, of game development. Are like, well, hardest while also being like easily reusable and easily codable. But in terms of like how you want the game to work, it's up to you. So if you want to put the update function on this node, you can, but you don't have to. So what I'm wondering is if I should add a property that says this, well, add a property that says this object, this happy smiley face object, corresponds to player, the struct in our game, which implements a node and gets its update function called regularly. It gets rendered regularly. I wonder if I should do that. I don't know. There's definite reasons why I would do this. It definitely feels like a good idea, but the flip side of it is that like I'm basically making a 3D engine now. If I'm saying you have to go through this update function, you have to go through this, you know, render function. I don't want to have to do that. I guess you can still not do that. You don't have to use the add-on. You don't have to use this system. But if you do choose to use this system, the upside is it's easy to tie your objects in game to objects in code. So you can choose to set a class, name the class, then when you instantiate it by loading the GLTF file, it will... How would it work? I don't want this to become a full engine, I don't think. I don't believe I do. So instead, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do this in game, like in what we're making here, but we're not gonna push it to the engine, because the fundamental functionality isn't really there. Like, I wouldn't have the ability unless I parsed the files in your code, like unless I parse the files in your code base, I wouldn't know, and like really like heavily parsed it. I wouldn't, or relatively heavily parsed it. I guess it would have to be like type blank struct this stuff. I wouldn't really be able to tell what objects are fulfilling of the struct. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, but it would be so cool. It'd be so cool. All right, let's walk through it mentally a little bit more. How would I know if I added a dropdown that said like, oh, this is the cam helper, it corresponds to the cam helper class, and I didn't just type it in, I actually like parsed the code to know it's the cam helper struct. How would I know that the cam helper struct fulfills the necessary requirements to be thought of as a node? I wouldn't know that. And how would this even work? So it would be an init function. So scene would extend the Tetra 3D scene. Init would be called. Yeah, I don't think I want to like go really heavy in this direction. It's a cool idea, but I don't think that it would get me much. But it'd be so cool. I'm struggling with for those who don't know what I'm talking about. I'm struggling with the idea of, do I want this to be simple or do I want this to be cool? Which is probably like the eternal struggle that goes on between both halves of it's the duality of man. Do I want it to be simple or do I want it to be cool? Simple does not mean it cannot be cool, and cool does not mean it cannot be simple. But in this case, simple and cool are two different sides of a single coin. Do I want this to be cool or do I want this to be simple? It is currently simple. Tetra 3D is simply a renderer. It is simply collision detection. But I could make it a game engine. Is there a way to be cool while being simple? There is, but that is local to our project here. It wouldn't be a cool and simple. It would, like, we're not extending Tetra 3D to be cooler. We're just using it to make something cool and simple at the same time. So like I want Tetra 3D to be cool, but it's currently simple, and if I make it cool, it wouldn't be as simple. Basically, if I made it an engine as opposed to a rendering framework, where it has its own scene update loop, it has its own like render, system, like it has its own like, this is how you make a game with Tetra 3D. That would be cool because then the flow is very simple, but that would not be simple. Well, it'd be simple to use, but it wouldn't be simple overall because the downside is if you just wanted to like render something, it wouldn't be as easy. But you don't have to do that. You don't have, I can make it work with an engine. I can make it work as an engine. How would I even make it work as an engine? So we will be calling scene.update, but that would be in Tetra 3D, and then scene.draw or render, which would also be in Tetra 3D. Yeah. No. Because then you have to have. I think it's best if we keep it simple. Okay. All right. So in other words, we're gonna do this ourselves. So here's what we're gonna do. So here's our camera helper. We're gonna replace our code, which is this, to be simpler. Now here's the idea. Currently, our scene graph is separate from our scene. So our scene consists of game objects that need to be added or removed, bounding objects, which I don't know if we're using that. We are. We don't need to use this anymore. We can just do this. There we go. There we go. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the scene, instead of having the scene graph be in the scene, I'm going to have the scene graph be the scene. So this is what I mean. So that change, let's see. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. Can I use scene as... Why can't I use scene as such a 3D.scene? Is it not a scene? Personally, I think it's simple might be better, but if you want to make it into an engine, I'd wait until after your game is released. Maybe so. Yeah, I don't want to insist on stuff. I think this approach is straightforward, relatively speaking. Also, I think this should work, should it not? Let's see, scene.scene. Do I have to pass scene.scene? I do have to pass scene.scene. Okay. Oh, I see. Right, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. This is gonna be crazy. I think it should work though. All right, first necessary change has been done. Now, this no longer is camera. It's gonna be a cam helper. We don't need to store scene reference. We're just gonna store directly the Tetra 3D node. This is now gonna be camera. There we go. Camera is gonna be... Let's see if the cam helper is here. Camera is the child, right? Yeah, okay, so it's gonna be node.find by type. Yeah. Camera. Alright, cam.tags. Oh, what was this? This was cam helper? Okay, so we already do that. Then we don't need this. We don't need a bounding sphere anymore, right? No, we don't use that anymore. Okay, so this is good to clean up our code as well. was this previously? Root. Oh, scene.root. Okay. Oh, because there. Yeah, I see. Okay. All right. So something like this is the general like feel that we're going for. We'll go over here. Camera is gonna be cam helper. We'll just name it a camera. It doesn't. We don't need to make it a cam helper. That's fine. New camera. Camera dot. There we go. There we go. Okay. Here camera dot camera. Camera dot camera. OG cam. New camera. Okay. I don't know why I did this way now that I think about it. All right, so now I think we're basically where we need to be. Let me rename this back to data because seeing camera.camera is killing me. There we go, scene.camera.data. Now, we're not going to do this anymore because this should be in here. The general idea is that instead of holding game objects, we're just going to hold we're just going to do that. This is going to be weird, everybody, but the idea is we loop through the scene children, recursive children, and then we say basically if game obj equals g dot game object. Something like that. Okay, we don't need this. Root data children. Scene. Scene dot root dot of This is something else. Hold on. Cannot have a type. I'm like, my brain is like melting. But when it works, just you wait. When it works, which it might not for a while, it'll be sick. We're just gonna nuke this real quick. Okay. Does it at least start to run? Yes, okay. So it does start to run. Camera doesn't exist. Okay, so the camera doesn't exist because the camera doesn't exist, of course. So we're going to when we find this guy, we'll do something like that, right? So we say it's a camera. We say, oh wait, if someone is sick, that's not sick, right? Yeah, exactly. All right, so if in.tags has replace, oh, this might not work, will it? Because in order for this to work, my general idea was basically to directly use the scene hierarchy as the objects to update and draw and stuff. But in order for that to work, we have to, when we load the scene, instantiate an object of the type that we want, which I don't think we can do. Like if we called this init from exported scene, load asset as library. When we load the asset, we're loading GLTF data. So I guess this is where what I was talking about. Like here is where I would be like, okay, if the replacement field is there, then we would want to replace the node with the class of the object that we want. So instead of being a standard node, it is now something else. Let's see if we can do it. I'm willing to give it a shot. This is wild, but let's see if we can do it. I will commit any changes. I don't have any changes. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah. So here's what the idea I was thinking about. So we will register a new property. That is like T3D class. Is a string property. We say class name. Or really not class name, but like struct name, I guess. Yeah, struct. Name, whoops. Name of the struct to replace. default equals blank. T3D struct. This might be easier in an isolated scene. So let's do that first. This is wild. This is kind of what I was thinking about. So we'll see if we can get it to work. All right. So we will do this. Hold on. Let's close out of shut in. What changes? Yeah, that's fine. Up here. Okay. So here's where we get a little wonky. Struct. Replace. Struct. We'll just call it struct. Okay. Properties. We will copy this stuff. Move it to struct. Okay. So here's where we get a little wonky. Here's where we get a little wonky. Let's go out here to Tetra 3D examples. Struct. Can we rename this? Struct.blend. Thank you. I just did it. Okay, so we will start from here, right here. Save this, close. Now we will go to Tetra 3D Pi. All right, so we got T3D struct. We register all of the properties, and then we unregister all the properties. And is this? I think it's bigger. I think it is bigger. I thought I wasn't sure, but if it's not, if the text isn't legible, let me know. Okay. I gotta hold on. Just hold on. This is a little wonky. This is a little wild. Now, what we want to do, we want to display this somewhere on the object panel, so that's what we'll do. We will display it here, I guess. Okay, so struct name. Name of the struct to overwrite this node. Override this node. The struct must be able to instantiate. No, must be able to fulfill all responsibilities of a node. Let me see. Does that work? Does that conceptually work? If we go back to the GLTF Go, the idea is that we should be able to specify, for example, this is our player, and then when we export this scene, it will, instead of creating a Tetra 3D node, it will create a player struct, which has to be able to fulfill the things that a Tetra 3D node would be able to do. Except code generation, kind of. I mean, the thing that I'm thinking about right now is the difference between a node and a model, because a model is a node that displays something, basically. Yeah, I don't think this will work. Player, so then you pass a player, you pass a function that would create the object, but it's not a model, right? Like if I pass an object, if I pass a function that creates a node, it can basically use that function to create the node that we would want. Here. but we can't make a model. It's not a model. In this example, we basically say, this is our scene. If I can, also I'm a little hot. Let me take off my jacket. My brain is like percolating right now. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's our scene. There's two objects in our scene. There's a plane and our player object, the yellow guy. What we want to do is turn this yellow guy, which is a Tetra 3D model, into our own thing. The problem is we can't do that, because if we do that, our own thing isn't a model, and so it won't be able to render things. It will be able to be an inode, but when it comes to actually rendering things, it won't be able to do that. Even if it embeds a model, it is not a model. It has a model. Which means that if we wanted this to work, we would have to go to like model would have to have a node reference. It wouldn't be able to implement a node. Same thing for lights and bounds objects. Or model would have to, we'd have to make a function that basically says it implements model and return the model. Yeah, okay. I think the way I did this might have been, this design of Tetra 3D might have been slightly unideal for this approach of code that I'm thinking of, where you have direct, like you can substitute that will work. Never mind. Rather than this system, yeah, this is fundamentally the same thing. Okay, never mind. Does Go allow for hot reloading? No, but you can basically use something called Reflex, something like Reflex, which is a program that allows you to just like, hot reload it. So I was thinking about how to best approach this system, and we can still do this. We can still walk through this kind of example to kind of help us like see how this would work. Yeah, this will still work. So we're not gonna modify Tetra 3D Pi. That's not necessary anymore. But we can still basically kind of have an example here. This will be, we'll call this engine. This will be kind of like an example that shows how this should work in a standard, or how this could work rather, in a standard kind of standard game. So we will delete these two. We'll delete this. Okay. Let's go ahead and open it. Engine. Okay. So this is our cube. We'll add a property that basically says it is an instance, or we'll call it game. We'll call it game object. We'll give it a string and we'll name it player. Might be cool to add some sort of system to define. Oh, that would be cool if I could define like types, and then I could use a type property here and have a drop down. That would be kind of interesting, so that you could have like different kinds of types for like for things like this. Anyway, but here we go. Okay, so game object player. what we will then do is go to main. We will basically say this all is fine. Player is a struct. It has a reference to a node, which is, for the player, it's a model. Okay. We will have player have an update function. That's really all we need. Okay. Don't need this. All right, so here we go. We say for object in the in all of the children of the root, if it has the tags game object, then, and this is where we get a little interesting, I think. Well, there's a couple places where you get a little interesting. Firstly, this needs to be changed. Secondly, this is a game. Whoops. This is a game object, which is an interface. It has a something like this. It also has an update function. We will move these out into their own thing. All right. Okay, so that's negative, positive. All right, cool. Now we'll say player.node dot move vec. All right, there we go. So this is the system. This is what makes it work. So we say basically if it has a game object tag, then this is basically what we're gonna switch off of. So we say select, or rather switch, o tags get as string game object base player o dot data. And so here's where we're gonna make it work. So we're gonna set the data here to be new player. Do we not have a function for that? We do not. Okay. Model. Okay. Return player. There we go. All right, and there we go. It needs to be a model. We know it is a model. Does it need to be a model? It does not need to be a model. Okay, so then we'll just do it like this. All right, there we go. Cool. So now we don't need to move the camera. I don't think we won't have camera movement in this example. I guess we'll still have a camera. We can still keep a reference to it anyway. All right, so there we go. Well, I guess it's fine if we. Nah, I don't. It's fine if the camera moves. It's fine. It's a little complicated. It complicates things a little bit, but that's fine. Okay. All right, draw. Okay. Clear the camera. Draw the notes. We're good. Save. All right. So here's where we should, this should work. Firstly, it should work. We shouldn't have to do anything. It should just work. All right. So there's our cube, right? We can't move it. You can use the keyboard keys, but it doesn't move. Okay. So here's where the kind of the magic happens. What we're gonna do is we're going to now simply loop through. We can do it down here. We can loop through the children recursive and say children recursive list essentially, and say if obj.data not equal to nil, then we say if data obj okay is equal to data dot game object okay, then obj dot update. And whoops, didn't mean to make a build, but that was quick. But yeah, that should basically do it. Now we should be able to move our cube. That's insane, dude. That's easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it simple. Make it work. So this is now essentially a game engine, because we can just be like, oh yeah, you know, this is what ties our object in the game to our code. So if we wanted to do this, we can, now we have two players. It's, you know, just two instances of the player, but it works. Like it should just work. Yeah, now they're both moving together. That's really straightforward, really simple. Yeah. So if you wanted to, for example, let's add a plane here. Something like this. We will give it the same material. Wait, what? Oh, hold on. I'm not sure how to make this only appear if the material is there. I'm not sure, like if I just pass, does it? Let's close this real quick. Let's save it. Oh, I need to go to Blender. Okay, so yeah, like if you have an object, it doesn't have a material. Yeah, it's still there. I'm not sure how to make this not appear sometimes. Only appear. Remove the poll function if you want the panel to be displayed at all times. Okay, so Stack Overflow strikes again. Is that correct? TJK says, and BDX is resurrected from the dead. Kind of, it kind of is a similar concept. There we go. Looks like it might be working. Yeah, okay, cool. There we go. Is it also there if no object is selected? I guess that's technically impossible for no object to be selected, so that's fine. Okay. Yeah, but that's not true. Why don't we make it so that we make sure it's not none. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is the basic concept. This is the basic concept. So you go back over to Blender. You go ahead and you say like, oh, I want to, you know, like let's give ourselves some grass or something, right? So we subdivide it. Here we go. We subdivide it a couple times. We go ahead and give it the material that we were looking for. We give it a vertex color. We make it green. There we go. So there's our object, there's our everything. We add a light. We don't need to add a light. It's already too bright. Let's vertex paint this to be a little darker. There we go. Okay. So your object's moving around, right? And let's say you want some sort of situation where it's like, oh, if you touch this object, then it is destroyed. Hold on, let me think. All right, yeah, let's do a basic example. Let's do a basic example. You touch an object and then you are destroyed. So we will add spikes. What the? There we go. I merge center. There we go. We gotta get red. I want red. All right, so there. So we're going to test this out a little bit in a couple seconds. But for now, we can move this up. For now, we will say this is AABB. We will copy this to selected. There we go. All right. We will add a game property that is basically depth. Bool. We will copy that. Cool. Let's see if it loads first. It does. It's drawing things incorrectly. It's drawing things in the wrong order, but that's okay. Is this because, oh, backface culling is off? That's part of it. Okay. There's still other issues, the likes of which are, I think that there's like this internal face that probably should be deleted. Which is, well, there's quite a few internal faces. Let's delete all of the internal faces. So all of those. And then this also has one, or did it? It no longer does. Okay, good. All right, so this should give us basically what we're looking for in terms of just a basic kind of system, a basic ability to run around and, yeah. Okay, so we're the cube. You can move around, cool. Once it detects that you collided with this thing, it should die. That's the die. It should die. So that's the idea. So we're gonna go to game object here. Okay, hold on. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking. All right, so we're gonna clone the exported scene so that we're not modifying the. We clone the scene so we have an original to work from. Okay, so here's the thing. We say basically for bounds and range, player dot scene or root. Find by type. Oh wait, find by tags. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Well, find by type. And we're looking for bounding objects. If player dot, he'll need a bounds object. There we go. Player node get bind by type. Okay, so if player bounds intersecting bounds let's see. Ziotic says, hello, what are you working on today? I'm working on basically a concept, like I'm working on seeing how an engine should work. Like if you wanted to use Tetra 3D to make more of a kind of work with the engine, work with an engine. Like if you wanted to design an engine and use Tetra 3D for rendering, how would that work? And so in this example, I'm using the scene graph, or basically the scene node hierarchy, to indicate kind of what objects are in the scene. It's a little weird, but it might work okay. We'll see. So something like this. right, so this should give us the result that we want of movement, I believe. Where we can't bump into stuff. Yes. Okay. All right, cool. Now, the reason why I'm doing this really is to kind of suss out how I would want to do this if I was to like go with this approach of kind of designing an engine and really like meshing it directly with the node hierarchy, which I kind of think works okay. I think it works all right if you want to go heavy in this game object design, and I'm glad I didn't start reworking Tetra to work with this, because if you don't want to do this, you shouldn't have to, but if you do want to do this, Tetra should support it, which it does. So in this example, we shouldn't be able to move on the spikes. So what we're going to do, we're going to do something that's a little unusual, and we're going to take the spikes and separate them out to their own object so that we can check to see if we're colliding with that specifically. So we can be like, oh, I'm touching something that will kill me, as opposed to touching the base or back of the spikes, where that wouldn't be that big of a deal. So we're going to snap this to, can we snap it to the cursor or the center? To selected. Can we move this all down? Move this all up. There we go. So all the spikes can become their own thing. So this is spikes. And the spike base. This does not kill you. This does kill you. All right. We will parent this like so. Yeah. So AABB, AABB. We will make the spikes slightly smaller, so that their AABB is smaller than the Nah, I guess it's fine. All right, so now yeah, it'd be cool if I could draw the text of the property somewhere on screen, like LDTK Go does. That'd be cool. All right, so here's where we kind of actually do stuff. So we say basically, if bounds, or really if B, parent tags has def, then this is where we would die. This is where we die. So we can say, for example, player.node.unparent. So this should kind of just work. I think it already has died. I think it's already died. I think. Yes. Okay. So when is it in collision? When is it in collision? All right, let's see. Draw debug bound. According to this, it's not like the objects are where they should be. Huh. If I may have a little, if I may have a small Minecraft moment. Huh. All right, let's see. So yeah, it's according to this, touching something. Did I? No? No, nothing should have depth. Nothing should have depth. Let's see. Oh, my bad. Oh, this is just my bad. This should be here. Yeah. All right. So basically, this should do what we want it to do, and actually like kill the block when we walk into the spikes. Yeah, that's exactly correct. If we don't walk into the spikes and we walk on the edge, it works fine as well. Yeah, that's overall not too bad. That design isn't too bad. This, I kind of like this method of storing game objects in the data type, and then the game object has references to the node, so it can add and remove them on command. Yeah. The only thing we might want to do what if we made a function that you could pass onto a scene? Because what I'm envisioning is, how do we do this, but for objects that are spawned dynamically? So like, let's say we spawn in a new player. How do we tie this new player in with the node? So let's try it out. Let's see how. I have an idea, but let's try the obvious problem. So if input util.is key pressed ebitin.key 1, then here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say, firstly, we want to store the library. G.library equals data. Okay, so this library. There we go. So if you press this and we say library dot, or wait, library data. Oh, okay. G.library dot scenes 0 dot get, whoops, root dot get player. All right. Clone. And then g.scene.root.add children new player. All right. So this is kind of where I was thinking, like, how are we going to do this? So here's our player, right? And he's moving around. If we press 1, it crashes. It shouldn't crash, actually. Scene, okay, root, get player, he's here, is it not there? Library? Scene 0, root, get player, is that not there? Let's see. Oh, it's called engine. My bad. No, wait, that's right. Yeah, it should be called engine. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me delete this. Save. Engine. Yeah, player's there. Was it not saving? What was... Alright, that's weird. I guess it wasn't saving? Maybe I didn't save? Okay. Alright. So yeah, here's an example of the problem. So we pressed 1. So let's just restart all together. So here's our player, right? You press 1, you instantiate another player. But he's not controlled, because when we instantiate the original player, we run this code that basically says, hey, we're instantiating a object, you know, let's go ahead and like set the data. But when we clone the new player, we don't do that. So there's a couple things we can do. One is we can maybe pass something to the scene that does this. I guess really we should just do this manually, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that's fine. We'll make a function that does this. Or maybe we could just say like, yeah, I guess this will work. So we can say b.setGameObject_o, and then we just do that here. And we add it in. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so this is a general idea. Or this is the general idea, rather. All right, that's not bad. All right, so that's the general idea behind how this could work. So we call this when we first instantiate the scene, and then we call this whenever we create a new object. So this could be really simplified to something like this. Well, wait. Clone. All right, I think I have an idea. I'm thinking about like how this works, and I think I have an idea. Because like this, we want to clean this up. We want to clean this up to be simpler. So what if we made it so that nodes had a callback that is associated with basically changing parents. So we had a callback that we could use to know when it went from one parent to another. So we could just have it be like on parent change, set on parent change, which is a function that takes the old and the new parents, which are inodes. Right? So then you go to node. And we really could just say maybe something like that. Now when we clone it, hold on. Because if we do this, if we allow you to set a function, the idea that I had that I was going to go operate on is we could loop through all the objects in the library, and if they have a game object tag, then we set a function that says, hey, if you're basically being instantiated, if your parent is changing, i.e. you go from one parent to another, ideally, or in this example, from the library root to, hold on. So you go from one tree to another, or you change your parent. If we clone it, then that function clones. So you're going from an old parent to a new parent. And in the process, you go from an old parent to a new parent. But the node reference is different. So I guess we pass the node. Yes, okay. Right. Okay, so this should work. This is all right. So if new node new node dot, we have to make a function for this, or property on parent change function takes node old parent new parent by node. And on parent change equals node dot on parent change. And then set on parent change. I guess we can also get on parent change. I guess we'll just do this. All right. Unparent. Parent.remove children. Remove children. Add children. If parent remove children. Okay. Set parent. Change node. Old, new. Yeah. And this is old, new. Okay. All right. I think we got it. Set on parent change. I guess maybe we'll just say set parent change callback. That might be a little easier to understand. Change on parent change. Okay, cool. Set parent change callback allows you to set up the callback used when set a callback, which is to be called when nodes. Note that this can happen multiple times. When reparenting a node to from an old parent to a new one. Parent. Take care to refer to the node via the node argument so as not when cloning nodes so that the callback always refers to the correct node. Parent change callback returns when it be used when a node's okay. So that should allow us to do this, where we say, before we even clone the scene, we can loop through the library and say if o.tags has game object, then o.set parent change callback. Can I get the? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So if the parenthood changes for the node, i.e., it's being like instantiated, then we want to do this. Set parent change callback allows you to set a callback which is to be called when the node's parenting changes. Note that this can happen multiple times when reparenting a node from an old parent to a new one. Take care to refer to the node via the provided node argument, particularly when cloning nodes, so that the callback always refers to the correct node. Okay. All right. So if new.root scene, should I do that? How do I know that it's instantiated, I guess is the question. I'm so close, man. I can taste it, dude. I can taste it. I'm wondering here about something. Hold on. Okay. Okay. New node. Scene returns the scene this node is a part of, assuming that is the case. Okay. So then we have to know we don't have to know which scene it's a part of, although it could help. That's okay. Let's not overcomplicate this. It already is complicated enough. So if it has a game object, then we want to basically know when the parenting changes. If it goes from, like, how would we know it's being added? So if new.root, okay. All right, I think I got it. So all of that was to make it so that if we clone an object, it should automatically do this. Let's see if this remotely works. It doesn't. Let's see. Invalid memory address. Oh, my bad. This is weird. Okay, that one works. So why doesn't this one work? If o.tags clone. Oh, that's why. This if that has a has game. Oh, I'm so close, dude. I'm so close. Like, what I'm trying to avoid is this triggering multiple times, because if we set it like this, where whenever the parent changes, the callback is initiated or is triggered, the problem you're going to have is going to happen when you first create the object and when you first load the library, which means it's loading the if we had a reference to the scene, we could then, if we had a reference to the scene, we could, I don't really want to have to do that though. If we had a reference to the scene, we could tell if the scene is in a library or not. I don't want to have to do that. Node old new. If new.roots.turn has game. Oh, I don't have to do this because this already been initiated. It's already been, yeah. My bad. Okay. Yo. Why isn't it exploding? I'm so close, man. I'm so close. Let's see. I'm so close. Oh. And parent. Okay, so that's calling. This goes here. Node.set. If node. Okay. If. Wait, did I change something in the code? Parent change is not equal to nil. No dot on parent change. No parent. Okay. Unparent. If it's not equal to nil, remove children. Remove children for child. I'm so close, man. I am so close. I'm so close. I'm so close to this being just like an engine. It's just a straight up engine. But it's a cut, like you don't have to use it like that. New player node. Oh. So node is not. Let's see. Everybody asks, like, how are you working on master plan? TJK says, do you work on master plan full time, or is there another job you do part time? If you're doing it full time, how do you pull that off? I have savings, so I'm just like, I'm halfway working on master plan, and halfway just like using my savings to work on this stuff. So it's not a huge deal. I wouldn't say I pulled it off. I would say, yeah, I have savings, and I'm getting some income from master plan, but it's not like an insane amount. It's some, but nothing groundbreaking. How would I pull it off? I don't know. I wouldn't say I pulled it off, but I would say that if things go the way that I'm hoping, I should be able to pull it off by just making more content. I feel like once I have like master plan, this game that I'm working on, and maybe one other game out, that should be enough to just be like, I'm a prolific developer. So I'm like maybe halfway there, considering how much work has gone into Tetra 3D. Like it's, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. How did I pull it off? Ask me in like 3 months, 4 months. Let's see how I answer. Okay. Yes. So I'm close. I'm moving, but it's not unparenting. And I think that what might be happening is that the node may not be the reference that I think it is. Yeah, it's not. Is it not calling unparent? Node. The parent is root. Remove children. It gets called. Removes the provided children from this object for child. Okay, see. Set parent nil. Children equals nil. Children, okay, break. All right. Child dot set parent nil. Node. Node parent. It definitely should work. I'm so close, dude. I'm so close. There's something going on. I think I'm not pointing to the right object. I think I'm not pointing to the right object. But this isn't being called. New node on parent change equals node on parent change. Parent change triggered, but it's not triggering the parent change again. Why isn't it triggering the parent change again? Node old new. On parent change equals on parent change. Close. I'm so close. Why isn't it working, man? Okay, let's try this. I gotta believe in the heart of the code, apparently. All right, well that definitely works. So it's the root. Yeah, for some reason it's not. Could it be that the... All right, let's rule stuff out because I feel like I'm close, but maybe there's something else going on. Like I'm super close, but if it's not working, it's not working. So let's not get tripped up on it. Ah, whoops. Excuse me. No. Definitely should work. Set parent change callback func node old new. News no. All right, I don't think I'll be able to get this to work. The idea was basically that when your parenthood changes, i.e., you're being added to a scene or removed from a scene, it would basically set the data for the player, and this would also work for any other object. Any object and any object whenever it's cloned, and also any at any time. So like if you add an object or remove an object, we could use this to basically work on our like on add, on remove. Like that would allow us to do that system. But unfortunately it's not working. I don't know why. If I had an on add and on remove, cloning would be the issue. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't want to do that, do I? What I can do is something like this. Man, this is hard. Well, I think the core issue here is this works. I think the issue is just that when we clone the scene, when we're cloning the scene, I can't do it. I'm overcomplicating things. Let's keep it simple. All that time just to get basically the same result, but that's okay. You can't always have it work the way you want, even if it seems cool. All right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. All right. All right, so we're gonna do something like this. BJ equals this. BJ. G dot set. All right, so g.create that. All right, so that's the general idea. So this should basically work. We can delete this executable, by the way. Delete this. Yes. Okay. All right. You can move. You can run into spikes. You can create more of yourself. Perfect. All right. Now, if this is working properly, we should be able to also, this feels like everything's moving rather slowly. So let's make everything a little bit closer for the demo. All right. Excuse me for stretching. Cool. Now, excuse me. I guess we could still make an on add and on remove. And just put it here. So that on add gets calls on add on the game object. And on remove as well. Okay. So set on add. Set on remove. Oh, sorry about that. Callback is not cloned with the node when it is copied with the node when it is cloned. If it is, I want it to be cloned though. That's fine. Let me change the music. Oh. On tree add, on tree change, on tree remove. From I node to I node. All right, so then we will do this on tree add. Change. I guess they can all be from too. To be just easy to deal with, I guess. All right, so now set parent. You're removing children first, then adding. So I guess there's no change. It's just from you adding. So then, yeah, add to, remove from. Change doesn't exist. On tree change. To remove. To remove from. Okay. Set on add on. It was added to an existing. The callback is called just before the add happens. It's called when a node is removed from our yeah. Callback. Triggered just before the add happens, just before the removal happens. Callback is not copied with the node if it is cloned. Okay. Now, set parent. If parent is equal to nil, node dot on and node dot on tree add, tree remove. Okay, so if the removal function exists and the parent is not equal to nil and parent, okay, so node dot on tree remove parent. Else if node tree on tree add is not equal to nil and node parent is not equal to parent, then node dot on tree add. Let's see. Where are the possibilities? You can be removed from a tree, or you can be added to the tree, right? Or should we just make it so that you just have a tree change? Because does this ever get called? All right, here's what we're gonna do. This is exactly what I had before on parent. Oh my goodness. Okay. Set on parent change. Okay. Okay. Why did I even do this? Oh, okay. What? So I'm gonna change. Wait, what? Why is this no longer working? Hmm? What? This is really weird. Hmm. Do you know of a program for quick sketches, mock-ups of game design tidbits? No, not really. Master Plan. In the in the old version, I had like a sketching ability, but not in the recent one. I still have to implement that. So besides that, not especially. I'll have to implement it. Why isn't this working? Let's see. Okay. Okay. What did I change that makes this no longer work? I use GIMP for now. It's clumsy because I can't manage ideas where I put all my design ideas, or rather a single image. Yeah, definitely have to implement that in the new version of Master Plan, because it's just something that a lot of tools don't have, is the ability to like easily design. I must have done something that makes this not work, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, it's because I don't have an. I took out. Wow. I forgot to implement these. There we go. Right. All right. Cool. Did I? I did. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the thing about this that doesn't work that well is because we're cloning a scene to go from the library to the game, and there's nothing in between them, like there's no difference between them, this won't work. There's no way to tell if an object is being added to the scene. No wait, that actually might work. Let's see. Let's see if it does. Yeah, no. If 2 is equal to nil, then on remove. If from is equal to nil. Oh, I guess I could just say if. No, the library is still existing. I don't know. Let's rethink this. How would we want the player to know that it's being destroyed? Let's say something destroys the player. It removes it from the hierarchy. How do we know that it's removed from the hierarchy? We know it's no longer in the hierarchy if its parent is nil. All right, yeah. So this general idea kind of works. All right, this is fine. For now, this is fine. Let's go back to shot in to It Breeds Fear because I'm tired of dealing with this. Okay, so yes. If we give it a node, we can do something like that. I think it'll crash, but that's fine. In order for us to know where the camera is, let's see. So we walk through this. Let's see. String camera. Tiza has game object. Oh, we don't. We do. Okay. All right. So new camera. We don't need to do that anymore. That's handled for us. Because we can't do this, right? I guess we could. This should work. Okay. Okay, so at least the camera's working. Let's see. Do we actually use on ad anywhere? Looks like we do. We'll have to tweak that later. Update draw and node. Node draw screen. Yeah, okay. Update draw and node. Scene dot camera. There we go. That's better, I think. I kind of feel like I need to store a reference to the scene in nodes, because it seems like if you have a node in a tree, it should be able to, or any of the nodes should be able to determine what scene they're in, right? So here's what we're gonna do. It feels like you gotta have that. especially because the scene has a reference to a node. Like if the scene has a reference to the node, then a node should definitely have a reference to the scene. So node. We will keep a reference to the scene here. I don't think we can. I think set parent. Set on parent change. So we don't actually end up using this immediately, but that's okay. No, that parent. Okay, cool. That's fine. Add children. That parent. Ah, that's how I can do it. Okay. Understood. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Node. This is disgusting, but this right here is disgusting. Okay. So this should generally do it though. All right, something like that. When we clone, we do. Okay, new scene, root.scene, equals new scene. All right, something like that. gosh. All right. All right. So we're not completely dead in the water. All right, so this is working. Now this we want to be the player. So we will add a property. This will be a game object. It will be string, and then we'll point to the player. Save. Okay. Now, and we'll just case player. New player. And we'll do the exact same thing. We'll pass it in. Set data. There. Node. So we won't keep the reference to the scene. The root. The Tetra 3D inode. Or actually, we can have it be a model. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, that also works, yeah. See? Oh, wait, these aren't the same thing. This isn't a scene. Yuck. That's why I keep them separate. Yo, okay, now I see why I did the stuff I did. Okay. All right. Okay. So we keep this. We keep the scene. Root is going to be. Oh, we. Wait. I just now kind of realized these are two completely different like situations. Like this is an object that we want to move around and stuff. This is an object we want to substitute out with something that will move around and stuff. So then this should probably return the node rather than the player. It should return the player's root. So this all I think should work fine. On add, we don't do anything on add anymore, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, that's why I did that, yo. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll have to come back to that later. scene. So this isn't a game object. Excuse me. Oh, create. Yeah, I think what I didn't realize these are two different situations here. Model's not model. What did I player is root. Set data in. Oh, player dot set data. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is less than ideal. I gotta refine this. Okay, so we did a lot of like back and forth for no real reason. Oh man. So yeah, the core issue here is I want to make something that makes this process easy of substituting objects and of controlling them. So controlling them, I think I have down okay with the camera. Like I feel like that's pretty good. I think this is supposed to create the object, but we need to do something else. Like we still have some work to do in refining this. I mean, I guess it works fine currently. Yeah, I gotta like control. I have to work out exactly how I want this to work. But I'm tired and I'm hungry and I'm done for today. But that's okay. Not every day is going to be a good day in terms of creation, but that's okay. That's okay. We just have to take our time and get the process going, get it finished. Thank you very much for watching. It's been real. It's been fun. I'll have to catch you guys on the flip side next time with another stream. See ya.